Good evening, Zimbabwe. Welcome to Livetalk, The Connection, a platform where we discuss issues affecting young people. We are coming to you live from Studio 7 at the Voice of America in Washington. This Tuesday, May the 23rd, 2023. I am Tungamili Nkomo. Tonight, we are talking about the review of the primary and secondary education curriculum, which started across the country today with meetings between parents, teachers, students, officials from the Education Ministry, and other stakeholders. The purpose is to improve the so-called competence-based curriculum, whose phased implementation began in 2017. While admired by some, the new program, especially the aspect of it known as the Continuous Assessment Learning Activities, or CALA, is facing criticism from members of parliament, some teachers and parents who say they find themselves having to do most of the homework for their children. As a result of the enduring grumblings, government had to launch a 2-day review to get people's views on record, and many parents demanded change today. According to information on the Education Ministry website, the new curriculum seeks to achieve the following: quote, motivate learners to cherish their Zimbabwean identity and value their heritage, history and cultural traditions, and to prepare them for participatory citizenship, to prepare learners for life and work in an indigenized economy, an increasingly globalized and competitive environment, to ensure learners demonstrate desirable literacy and numeracy skills, including practical competencies necessary for life, to prepare and orient learners for participation in voluntary service and leadership, and to foster lifelong learning in line with the emerging opportunities and challenges of a knowledge society, close quote. Litshona njani Zimbabwe omuhle, siyahlangana kuhlelo lwabasakhulayo olwe The Connection. Namhlanje sixoxa ngemihlangano yokuhlaziya uhlelo oluqondisa izifundo zabantwana olwe competence-based curriculum olulesigaba esihluphayo esaziwa ngokuthi Continuous Assessment Learning Activities, kumbe ikhala. Abantu abaningi bakhala ngokuthi uhlelo lolu kumele luguqulwe ngoba lufaka umthwalo omningi emahlombe abafundi, kanti njalo befundiswa izinto ezinzima kakhulu. Abazali bathi yibo abagcina besenza ama-homework abantwana sikhathi sonke ngoba ayabe enzima kakhulu engabalingananga, ngitsho labafundi be-primary. Ngokunjalo, uhulumende usungule imihlangano yokukhulumisana labafundi, abazali, ababalisi labanye lamhlanje ezikolo ukuze azwe imbono yabo lokuthi kuyini okungaguqulwa kulolu hlelo. Emihlanganweni yanamuhla, abazali abaningi bakhale ngokuthi bafuna uhlelo lolu luguqulwe. Kwaziwa ibatereri bestudio 7 nasimuchirongwache Livetalk, The Connection. Tiri kutarisa misangano ya tanga nasi pakati pebazi redzidzo yepasi kana kuti primary and secondary education. Vadzidzi, vabereki uye vadzidzisi pamusoro peurongwa hwekuvandudzwa kwedzidzo hunozikanwa nekuti competence-based curriculum. Pasi pechirongwa ichi pane chikamu chanetsa chinonzi Continuous Assessment Learning Activities kana kuti CALA. Vanhu vakawanda vanosanganisira nhengo dzedare reparamende, varayiridzi uye vabereki vari kuchema nekuti vana vari kudzidziswa zvidzidzo zvakaoma, izvo zvinopa kuti vabereki vave ivo vanoitira vana ava basa rechikoro. Vamwe vataura pamisangano yanhasi vanotizve vadzidzi vekumaruva vari kusaririra nekuti chirongwa ichi chinoda zvikuru kushandiswa kwedandemutande reintaneti iyo isingawanikwi kumaruva. Our reporter Rutendo Mawere spoke to one parent in Harare uyo anga achichema-chema nechirongwa chekhala.
Izvezvi mwana akangoya kumba akutoti mama ndiri busy ndiri kuita new curriculum. After new curriculum apedza zvemakhala zviya mwana akutoita homework. After homework time dzapera mwana akutodya akwendondorara. Saka even ma-resources awo ma-schools you find kuti akuna ma-resources anokwanisa anobatsira new curriculum yekutoti tingati ma-schools awe equipped nema-resources anobatsira vana kufacilitate new curriculum yacho. Another issue pa new curriculum ndeyekuti sometimes you find kuti ma-questions e-color, mostly color, ari above the level revana. Mamwe ma-questions like meeting taitovhunza kuti nai ma-questions ekala munoawanepi, and I had kuti anotogadzirwa nema-teachers at grade level. But you find kuti sometimes zvimwe vacho unovhura syllabus kudaisa kuti zvirimo here musyllabus izvi, because mostly kumba isusu vabereki tisu tiri kuitira vana makala ndochokwadi. And again pamakala ipapo unyatsoona kuti mwana hapana zvaari kutomboziva, hazvisi zvelevel rake, hazvisi zvezera rake, hazvisi zvegrade level, hazvisi zveage level as well. Saka new curriculum on the other side iri right zvayo because yakuembrace new technology. On the other side iwo iri kukwadza vana is too much, yakawandisa. Dai ministry yedu ye-primary and secondary education, new curriculum is good, but dai yagona kuti yo reduce. Like izvezvi vari kuita 30 at grade level. Dai yaredusawo kutoti per subject at least 3.
And in Bulawayo, our correspondent Ezra Chisaspanda spoke to educationist Mr. Ben Moyo.
I-review lay is long overdue. Uhulumende vele into yenza uqala yayivele imboza. Abantu bachitha isikhathi esiningi bekhangela into zekhala. Imali echithwayo laphana lesikhathi esichithwayo awuhambelani namamarks akhona 30% ususuka lapho. Abanye abazali abala access to data, ezinye izikole azila access to data, kuyadura kugcina ngabazali abasebenzayo khonapho. Sifuna ukuthi curriculum futhi nxa benza review beke bekhangela ukuthi silama kule language groups angu 16 ku constitution. So i-cultural heritage yethu ayikhangele zonke indimi labantu abavela kulezo ndimi. Besihlangana kwenzela ukuthi sipromote i-national unity lokubambana elizweni, singakhangela ukuphela uhlangothi olunye. Okunye futhi silindele ukuthi i-history curriculum yethu iguquke, itshengise ukuba izipra lezapho lazo zaphatheka kwezombangazwe. Khathesi ukhona ngani izanu lezandla kuphela ezalwayo. Silindele futhi ukuthi curriculum entsha iphe lanxa kule khala kusale kule 1 per subject. Khathesi maningi kakhulu. E-secondary futhi le 1 iphe umntwana indlela yokuthola i-career yakhe, ibe imdirector khonapho. But lokho kuhlanhlathika ngalonke ngibona kungazi kusinceda.
Umnumzana Ben Moyo oyingcwethi kwezemfundo ekhuluma lapho lentatheli izindaba yethu uEzra Chisaspanda ekobulawayo. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back with our guests tonight.
In times of change, when the world seems uncertain and what we hear doesn't reflect what we see, we seek the truth. When we are told only part of the story, we lose trust. In moments of crisis, our dreams, hopes, and wishes for a better tomorrow depends on a free press. At Voice of America, we bring you the stories that people take risks to see. We connect the world and unite it with truth. At Voice of America, we show you the whole picture.
For those just joining us, this is Livetalk, The Connection, coming to you live from Studio 7 at the Voice of America in Washington. Tonight, we are talking about the review of the primary and secondary schools curriculum. Public consultations started today and ending tomorrow. Our guests tonight are Mr. Taungana Ndoro, spokesperson for the Primary and Secondary Education Ministry, Nokuthula Hlabangana, Vice President of the Progressive Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, and Precious Rejoice Sibanda, a Form 4 student in Bulawayo. We will also be joined by Themba Moyo, spokesperson for ATUZA. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for joining us. Let me start with you, Mr. Ndoro. I know you are in Masvingo. You were attending the meetings there. How did they go, and what was your main takeaway?
Oh, the meetings went very well in Masvingo and Chibi district, where I was actually monitoring the consultations that were taking place in the two districts. We managed to get quite a lot of feedback from the parents and from pupils and teachers about our curriculum. And we obviously noticed that there was a lot of feedback also on the continuous assessment learning activities, which one of the challenges that I seemed to pick up was that most of the parents did not really understand the objectives of the continuous assessment learning activities. But as soon as we explained to them exactly what we are trying to achieve with the continuous assessment learning activity, they then started to appreciate where we're coming from with this continuous assessment learning activity, including the curriculum review itself. It was impressive that most of the parents did not have any challenges at all with the bulk of the curriculum. They only had queries about the continuous assessment learning activity. So we then realized that a lot more publicity and advocacy is supposed to be done to educate our parents on the objectives that we're trying to arrive at, and what we're trying to achieve with the continuous assessment learning activity, which when we explained to them, they found that this is a very noble idea, this is a very good thing, this is something that can actually make sure that Zimbabwe becomes a prosperous and middle-income economy by the year 2030. Thank you.
Uko panyaya ya tiri kunzwa ichibva kune vamwe vabereki yekuti ndivo vari kuitira vana basa rechikoro nekuti zvavari kudzidza zvikuru sei vekuprimary zvakaomesa. Haina kubuda here, hamuna kuinzwa maningi here kumasvingo ikoko?
Yabuda nyaya iyoyo yabuda, asi isu tanga tichitotsinyira kuti hakuna mwana anofanirwa kuitirwa continuous assessment learning activity yake, nekuti zvakafanana nekuti iwe mubereki waakunyorera mwana wako examination. Kala iyi inotogredwa pamacertificate anoenda paziripeti paya, ive 30% yainocontributa semuenzaniso. Ndatini pananditaura navamwe vabereki tiri kwachivi uko uye ndiri kwamucheke uko, ndikati zvamunoona kala iyoyo vana ndo vanofanirwa kuita. Vana toti ground ibhora riri kutambwa, football, soccer. Vana ndo vatambi vari kutamba, maplayers. Maticha edu ndo makochi vanokocha vana. Masapota vanenge vari mumateresi vaya vanobhadhara kupinda mustadium ndiri vabereki ndivanochengeta vanoenda vana kuchikoro. saka iwe sapota ukatanga kupinda muground rebhora uchida kubatsira mwana wako kundogohwesa wozoti mwana wangu anogona bhora, unenge watokanganisa. Iwe murairidzi ukatanga uri coach woda kupinda muground rebhora woda kugohwesera mwana wako wogoti vana vangu vanogona, unenge watokanganisa. Hapana maskills anenge akwanisa kuitika pane vana vedu. Saka tiri kuti isusu vana ngavarambe vachiita makala avo vega, vanogaidwa nevadzidzisi vedu vachizita kala rako rakadai vachita vachidzoka vachibva kunzi no vokochwa zvakanaka, vabereki vachivabatsirawo nekuvatsapota kuti waita makala ako here usati wandovata tarisai kuti waita makala ako, kwete kuti vavaitire, kwete kuti vadzidzisi vavaitire, kwete kuti vabereki vatsvage umwe munhu anovaitira makala anenge achitovauraya vana vavo, nekuti zvine zvafanana nekuti vabereki vavo kana varaidzi vavo vanenge vakutonyorera vana vavo macompetition. Saka patazvekutsanangura takadaro havanzwa kufara chaizvo, vabva vaziva kuti aiwa kala inofanirwa kuitwa nemwana, ende aya atori mamaks aanokwanisa kutowana 30% yekuti paanozonyora zamanishoni rake regrade 7 kana reform 4 kana reform 6 anokwanisa kunge atori kana ne25% kana 27% kana 23% yaanenge atowana kare, angosara nekuzongowana imwe ishoma kuti abva hapari.
Thank you, Deva Ndoro, and please do stay on the line. And speaking from experience, I remember my niece, then she was in grade 7, she's now in Form 2. Aindinetsa nenyaya makala every day, homework. And I would do like pretty much everything for her. And I ended up saying, no, I'm not doing this anymore because you are not learning anything. And at the same time, I felt like, this is too tough for primary school students, but that's just my experience. We also have Unoktula Labangana, PTUZ, Vice President. Ms. Labangana, I know your union has previously raised concerns about the new curriculum, especially color. What are those concerns?
Good evening to everyone. Our major concern as an organization is that the number of colors that the learners are supposed to do, we feel the number is too much. That's why you see a lot of plagiarism taking place, a lot of copying happening because of the number. You can imagine at a secondary school, my son was doing 10 subjects and is expected to write 5 colors per subject, meaning at the end of 2 years, you should have written about 50 colors. So it is our concern that at the same time, there is no budget allocation towards these colors. It's actually draining. The parents are the ones who have to fork out money to go and make sure research is done, the printing of pictures or the printing of, or the typing and printing of the projects that they've done. So our plea as an organization is that as the reviews are being done, I also participated today. Majority of the parents, although in the questions that the ministry drafted, there's no specific question really that is touching an issue on color, except when we had to record on other responses, but it's not really giving much space for parents or teachers or learners to express the issue of a number of colors and the request from the majority of us as a teachers union or parents or myself speaking on behalf of parents or as a parent as well or as a teacher as well, is that the number needs to be reviewed, the number of colors that learners are expected to do per subject. I feel the number is just too high and it leads to a lot of learners copying each other or plagiarism taking place. So I felt that part really there is need for review.
Indaba yokuthi abantwana abasemaphandleni ikakhulu uhlelo lolu lubachiya emuva ngoba most of the times kumele abafundi bangene ku-internet benza ama-homework kodwa emakhaya ogogo abantwana abaningi bahlala labogogo kabafundanga lanxa befundile imali yokuthenga idatha abaningi babe bengelayo ikukhalakhala elikuzwileyo yini lokho kuma consultations anamuhla
izikolo zisemakhaya ikakhulu ezi-down deep there abala yona i-network ngokwayo singakafiki ku-issue yedatha vele ngikhangele yithecholotsho abala yona i-network ebambayo efonini ukuthi sithi bakwanisile ukuthi bazathola imali yedatha baguge bavela bala ukuthi abazali bona bakhona ukuthi laba basedrobheni kobulawayo abazali umzali yatshona ebhizi fona ngoba singaze sithi amakhala lawo kumele kube ngumntwana ozibhalelayo yemzali kavunyela ukungena egrawundini yokubhala amakhala. Yes, that's what the ministry kukhangelele ukuthi umntwana azenzele ikhala but into eyiyo eyenzakalayo especially emadorobheni la abazali babhizi yibo ababhalayo amakhala. Bengaze kudila iministry idila ithini ithi kurongo kumbe ukuthi but yinto eyenzakalayo ngenxa yani ngoba amakhala lawo abuya anzima for ilevel yabantwana. Two, umzali engasekuthatha kwi-responsibility yakhe ngoba umzali i-desperate ukuthi umntwana ipase but umzali ekhaya yena uwesi ngoba one gazi mix gazi litho gala la muntu azambuza ekhona ngazi mama sigijini igogeko omakhelwane ethi mana ngeke uzikhala kamandla le umntakabhuti wamakhala la ekhaya akulongamsiza vele. So ukutshoyo ukuthi abantwana basemadorobheni bazahlala bephumelele okungcono ezifundweni zabo ukudlula abantwana bemakhaya ngoba bemadorobheni bale opportunity ukuthi abazali babo baguge bakwazi ukuthola idatha le-network balayo. Emakhaya bala network bala abazali abangenala information abangenala ndawo zokuthi baguge abethini kubuye nxa konke kuyafanana nje i-marking scheme yabo ifanana i-moderation izobe ifanana at the end of the day.
Siyabonga.
Kunzima vele emntwaneni osemakhaya la kumzali osemakhaya kunzima singakafiki vele isho ukuthi kumele bebhadale i-printing abalayo le-printing le-network abalayo. So usalayo ukuthi sithi abantwana bemakhaya bazasilela vele abedorobheni besiya phambili abemakhaya besiye emuva.
Siyabonga Mahlabangana Nokuthula Hlabangana, Vice President of the Progressive Teachers Union of Zimbabwe. Please do stay on the line. We also have Mr. Taungana Ndoro, Education Ministry spokesperson. And now let's go to Precious Rejoice Spanda, a Form 4 student in Kwabulawayo. Good evening, Rejoice. Let's dive in. What's your experience with color and the new curriculum? I know you are sitting for your final exams, Form 4 exams this year. Are there any challenges? What's your assessment?
Yes, there are a lot of challenges we are facing with colors. First, we have shortages for resources. Njengokuthi eyachayisa esikolo ufike endlini uthole kungelamagetsi ikhala yayo ifuna ukuthayipha iyeprintisa le mali yokuprintisa iyabe ingekho. Sometimes sidalela abazali amakhala emgcina engasazwisisi lutho umzali ngeke sebhala lokuthi yasela lesikhathi for ukustarta yawendlini sezikhala esikolo lakho silise amaleseni senza abakhala ititsha athi akulanto ezayenza hlala iklasi yonke yenza amakhala ngapha sasingasela sikhathi sokuthi sibali for ama-exams siprepare and okunye sayifuna le data i-internet every color kwamele igugile ukuze igugile idinge ku-internet ibhale ukhali type iprint.
Ngezinye indlela Rejoice lapha uthi iphathi ye-curriculum okuthiwa yikhala leyo ithatha isikhathi esinengi okokuthi ligcina lingasakhona ukwenza omunye umsebenzi wesikolo. Ukhona ubaba uTaungana Ndoro lapha isikhulumeli sogatsha lwezemfundo. Nxa ungakhuluma laye kuyini okumqoka ofuna bakulungisise?
Abangasilungisela khona bengasidlulisela ikhala baphonga ukuthi one color per subject ngoba omunye ayaseza 10 subject kumele ayenza amakhala angu-50 5 per subject iyabe ngasela sikhathi so bengasenzela ukuthi each subject bafake one color ayingasinceda lokho kakhulu thole lesikhathi sokuthi study singisela ama-exam.
Siyabonga Precious aqhubeka ubambile andizo ke kwamuri Vandoro muri kunzwapo Precious mudzidzi form 4 ari kutaura kubulawayo kuhanzi dai mati nzvirawo tsitsi marejisa makhala koitwa one color per subject uye ari kuchema nenyaya dzedata neshortage electricity pachidimbu muchazvigadzira sei izvozvo?
Nyaya iyi taizeya futi nevabereki uye nevadzidzi tichitaura kuti kala iyi vanofanira kunzwisisa kuti you use ama-resources ari available to you kuti uite kala yako. So if you do not have resources, if you are in a rural or remote area, there is no electricity, there is no internet, you can still do your color focusing on a research area or a problem within your community that you want to solve. So you solve with whatever is available within your resources. Let me give you another example. Toti isusu uruda kuita kala yekugadzira juice, orange juice nema orange juice asi haugari kudhuze nekunana bhindura kana mazoe. Vanogara mazoe vanogadzirisa orange juice nema-orange. Vaya vanogarawo kukunkai nekunana Chipinde vakaona mauyu vanotora mauyu iyayo vogadzirisa juice iyoyo nemauyu iyayo. Vaya vanobvawo kumwenezi vanotora mapfura ayaya vogadzirisa juice iyoyo nekuti ndo ari kuwanikwa munzvimbo nemunharaunda yavari.
Thank you.
Hakuna ma-orange ari
Thank you there Vandoro. We are running out of time, but ngibuye kuwe Mahlabangana in 30 seconds. Give us your last word. What's the way forward?
My last words will plead with the ministry to say there is need for in-service training for teachers, and there is no way that we can separate the issue of the implementation of the curriculum away from the teacher motivation or teacher salaries. It's an issue. Pay teachers well, and everything else will become easy for everyone. That one is it.
Thank you. I'm sorry we have to leave it there. Ms. Hlabangana, Nokuthula Hlabangana, Vice President we PTUZ. We also heard from Ubaba Taungana Ndoro, isikhulumeli sogatsha lwezemfundo, and we also heard from Precious Rejoice Spanda, a Form 4